What are you saying no for? Huh? We are having a string of snow days around here once again. This is not common for us. We do not normally get this amount of snow. And in order to fully embrace winter, something that I am trying to do more, I am making the quintessential snow day meal that everyone loves, and that is grilled cheese and tomato soup. For the past month or so, I have been almost exclusively making bread with 100% whole grain flour. But for this meal, I decided that having our OG sourdough no-knead loaf would be a little bit tastier for the grilled cheeses. So that is why I'm making 4 loaves of bread. Obviously, you guys know that I would not normally make so much bread at one time just because it is only 3 people in this house. But I wanted the 2 whole grain sandwich loaves for my daughter to snack on, and then I wanted the no-knead bread for the grilled cheeses. So this is the first day of just getting everything mixed up, ready to be stretched and folded, and I would obviously do that throughout the day. And then I let the whole grain bread rise overnight, and the all-purpose bread was bulk fermented and let rise in the fridge overnight. It can be so tough for me to stay inside during the winter time or just be inside more often than we have to in the summer. Part of that is just literally because the days are shorter, but I am trying to embrace this as just a season of rest and a time where it's okay if less is getting done. I'm a little less motivated. I know that the motivation will come with the daylight in the summertime, and I'm just trying to embrace all the things that make winter unique, like the cozy nights inside, time spent inside where we can learn new homemaking skills like bread and baking and painting a wall or sewing a dress. All of those things make a little bit less sense in the summer, so I am trying to embrace that about winter. This is, of course, the next day when my bread has risen and it is time to bake it. So I get started early in the morning baking the bread, and then I get started on my tomato soup. You may have noticed this olive oil that I was using, and this olive oil is from Graza, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Graza makes high quality olive oils that are absolutely delicious. There are 2 different kinds of Graza olive oil, the Sizzle and the Drizzle. They are both incredibly tasty, and I want to tell you a little bit about what makes them unique. The Drizzle is an extra virgin finishing olive oil that is made from olives that are picked early. That is whenever the flavor is bold and the antioxidants are highest. This is made for eating, not heating. The Sizzle is an extra virgin cooking olive oil from mature mid-season olives that yields a more mellow flavor. You can use the Sizzle every day in every way. And I love that whenever I run out of oil, there is no need to buy a full new squeeze bottle. I can grab a refill can from Graza's website or my local Whole Foods to simply refill the squeeze bottles. The refill cans are nitrogen sealed, which keeps oxygen out and freshness in. They are fully opaque, which keeps all the light out, which can degrade your extra virgin olive oil. And they are perfectly portioned, so you can just grab your kitchen funnel and pour them directly into the Drizzle and Sizzle bottles. Graza's olive oils are unbelievably delicious. They are noticeably better than any other olive oil I've ever had, and they cost way less than the fancy stuff. It's an affordable everyday price for Graza. Their olives are always fresh, never blended, and they're single origin and single varietal. That means that they are made from one kind of olive that is picked in one place. I know that you guys will love Graza just as much as I do, and so make sure to go to the link in my description and get yourself the duo today. You can use my code for a discount at checkout. Thanks again to Graza for sponsoring today's video. You might have caught a glimpse of the recipe book that was in my Graza package, and that is where this recipe is coming from. They call it the Snow Day tomato soup, which is just so perfect as I record this voiceover and look out and see our yard is covered in snow. We have been loving this tomato soup and have been making several grilled cheeses. So that is where the recipe came from. It is in the Graza souplet. It's really simple though, and I can give you a little bit of a rundown here. So you start by roasting the tomatoes and the garlic, and then while those are roasting in the oven, you get a pot going with some onions, get the onions nice and soft, add in some fennel seeds and some red pepper flakes, and then you add the tomatoes back into the pot and mix them up with the immersion blender. Once I got my onions started in the pot and I had my sourdough bowl baking in the oven, I had a little bit of a gap of time where nothing was really needing to be addressed. And so I have been on a kick lately of loving fresh squeezed orange juice. I got this little juicer because I got convinced that fresh squeezed juices are really healthy for you. And it has been so fun. So I have it linked to my Amazon storefront. If you guys have any interest in making juice yourself, it makes it so easy and it's such an indulgent little treat and not even that costly during citrus season. So that is what you were seeing here. I find that spending whole mornings in the kitchen, getting things baked, making juice, making breakfast, cleaning it all up, all of that is really fun to me and really rewarding. This meal especially is really rewarding because while it's a little bit involved to actually make it, it's not hard by any means, but it's just a little bit involved. It makes the easiest leftovers. So next time I'm going to double it or maybe even triple it, maybe freeze some of it. But I love that it makes the easiest leftovers because my recipe that I follow for this sourdough bowl makes 2 loaves. And so then you have 2 loaves worth of grilled cheese bread on hand. We always have plenty of cheese and those are really easy to whip up, and then you just reheat the soup and you have an easy lunch for a good portion of the week. And this is one that we never tire of. I know I've mentioned that we don't like soups all that much. Tomato soup is the one exception. I really enjoy making this. I'm definitely going to make it more often. The next project that I want to share with you guys this week is something that I have been thinking about a long time, and that is moving out of my sewing room. So this might come as a shock because, of course, it is the most amazing place to sew ever, but it had a couple of flaws, and I have been thinking about wanting to move my sewing area out into a more common area for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I am a capital E extrovert, and being holed up in my own room just was not as motivating to me as I wanted it to be. It was honestly very lovely when I was sewing during the day, but when I would have a cozy sewing night, which is something I very much enjoy doing, it was less fun than it would have been if I would have been in a common area where the TV could be on, my husband could be sitting on the couch, and I could be doing this sewing kind of in a more social setting. The other reason that I wanted to move it out into this area specifically was that I kind of had been eyeing it for a long time, and I figured that if I latched the bottom cabinets, I could actually sew while my daughter is awake. So that is something that has not been really a possibility since she's been out of the fall asleep in my wrap era. And now it feels like it actually would be really very doable to sew while she's awake. And as her nap times get shorter, she's awake for more portions of the day. That is very exciting to me. I was finding myself very rushed when I would try and get stuff done exclusively during her naps. And now I feel like with this space, I will actually be able to sew while she is awake. Seeing as how this is a common area of our home, I wanted it to be very aesthetic and I wanted it to look like it was a part of our decor. Obviously, spools of thread are not part of most people's decor, but I wanted it to look pretty and look fitting for our home. And I really do think I achieved that. And I'm so excited to share a lot more projects with you guys in this new space. The last thing I want to share with you guys this week is a delicious dinner that I made. It was an Italian sausage creamy pasta, which is just the ultimate comfort food in my opinion. Any creamy pasta is just so tasty on a cold winter night. The theme of this video might as well just be peaceful and cozy because I have had such a fun time making some more comfort foods. This recipe is quite simple. You just use a can of diced tomatoes, some Italian sausage, and some heavy cream to make a pasta sauce. Obviously, you're going to add in some spices there as well. If you guys ever want to receive links to these recipes, I don't write my own recipes, so they're not on a blog, but I do have an email list where I send out my weekly meal plan, and also I send out an email every Thursday morning pertaining to that week's video where I share links to the recipes that I have made or links to the pattern I'm sewing or tools in my kitchen that I showed. So if you have any interest in receiving links to all of these recipes that I show, make sure to sign up for the email list at the link in my description. Thanks so much for joining me for another week here on Our Sweet Sunny Days. I really hope that this video was peaceful to you, that it was inspiring to you, and that it was encouraging that winter can be cozy and sweet and not just something to get through, which is confession how I treat it most of the time. So while we look forward to summer, I hope that you guys are all enjoying this winter week. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.